Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Jake the Genealogist, and in today's video I'm going to be going over the first of many of these Khanates covered on my Central Asian Khanates family tree, which I introduced in the previous video. So, today's video we're going to be going over the Bukhara Khanate. Now, as you can tell from this map, the Bukhara Khanate was located in modern-day Turkestan, sort of in Uzbekistan. Now, the Bukhara Khanate was founded really technically back in 1506, but here I put it as 1512. I'll explain later why. So they were actually descendants of the Uzbek Khanate. Now, this Khanate was founded by the Shaybanid Dynasty, which was Gengisid. In fact, most of the Khanates on this tree are descended from Genghis Khan. Now, they are descended from Shiban, the fifth son of Jochi, who was the eldest son of Genghis Khan. Now, in 1428, this guy right here, Abul Khair Khan, was able to consolidate many Uzbek tribes and confederations to form a short-lived Uzbek Khanate. And after a long 40-year rule, he was actually succeeded by several short-lived sons, as you can see right here. But ultimately, his grandson would end up becoming even more successful. Now, he was a son of pretty short-lived Khan, Shah Buddha Khan, and this guy Muhammad Shabani Khan reformed the Uzbek Khanate again. Once again, why I'm technically counting it as the Uzbek Khanate is because he was the one that actually reformed it in my eyes, and it was really his uncle Kuchkunji Khan who really founded the Bukhara Khanate. But that's just my opinion. But anyways, he was able to reform the Khanate, and once again, just like his grandfather, he was able to conquer pretty much everything in his path. He defeated the Timurid Empire, and technically, he established the new Bukhara Khanate in 1506, centered around, you guessed it, the city of Bukhara in modern-day Uzbekistan. And he also established diplomatic relations with the Ottoman and Chinese empires. And he was a pretty big enemy of Ismail the First of the Safavid dynasty in Persia, a move that led to the 1510 Battle of Marv, in which Shaybani was killed. And allegedly, Ismail actually beheaded him after death and turned his skull into a drinking goblet. Read that a lot about these monarchs. Anyways, so none of Muhammad Shaybani's sons took the throne of the Khanate, so the throne actually passed to his uncle, Suyin Shoja Khan, right here, and who promptly renounced it and gave it to his older brother, Kuchkunji Khan, right here, who I mentioned previously. And he, like I said, he's often presented as the first real Bukharan Khan. Now, his reign was relatively uneventful, but it was successful as he was able to boost the economy and trade. And after his death in 1531, you know, the average thing that seems to happen to every monarchy happened, where, there's too many rulers in a short period of time. In this case, six different Khans succeeded him. As you can see, Abu Sa'id, Abdullah Khan, Abdul Latif, Ubaidullah Khan, Pir Muhammad, and Nawruz Ahmed Khan in only a period of 30 years. However, this wasn't a period of distress, as, Bukhara during this time reached a pretty much a zenith in culture, introducing improved education, as well as skilled craftsmen gaining great influence, as well as the arts and poetry. Now, after this guy, Nawruz Ahmed Khan's death in 1556, the crown passed to Pir Muhammad Khan, and then after his short rule, it passed to his brother Iskandar Khan right here. And the peak of Bukhara was about to come. Now, Iskandar actually left most of the governing of Bukhara in the hands of his son, Abdullah Khan II. And after Iskandar's death in 1583, Abdullah took the throne. And Abdullah is pretty much widely regarded as Bukhara's greatest ruler. He did many things during his reign. He had pretty successful monetary reform. He conquered Badakhshan, Khorasan, Khorazm, and Khiva, as well as establishing diplomatic relationships with Russia and the Ottomans. And after his death in 1598, and his son Abdul Mumin, right here, was killed by rebels, the Shaybanid Dynasty came to a close. So the next dynasty up to bat was the Janaid Dynasty, who were descendants of the Astrakhan Khanate, who were once again descended from Genghis Khan. And their founder, Boki Muhammad Khan, though he only ruled for 6 years, was able to greatly modernize Bukhara. And after his brother, the pretty unpopular Vali Muhammad Khan was deposed, his nephew, Imam Quli Khan, was put in charge. And as you can tell, he had a very long reign of 31 years, and he further modernized Bukhara, improving on the architecture and achieving a lot in foreign policy. Though one of the biggest things he couldn't do was fix a lot of the tribal divides among the people in the Khanate, mostly among the Uzbek tribes. In fact, though the Janids were well known for their famous literature, poetry, and other writings and arts, they had a lot of difficulty in uniting the Uzbek tribes, as well as conquering territory in war. There wasn't much expansionism. Now, skipping ahead a while, because a lot of these rulers are relatively uneventful, we get to Abu al-Faiz Khan right here. Um, and in 1711, he became a new ruler. Now, surprisingly, 29 years into his reign, which is quite a while, I wouldn't have thought he would have lasted that long. He was actually defeated in battle by who else but the Persians. Pesky Persians were at it again. Swear to God, they defeat every monarchy I cover in Asia. And like in many other videos, it was Nader Shah who defeated him, and he lost in battle, possibly, and the Janids lost control of the region in 1740. And during this time, Muhammad Hakim Bey, right here, and his son Muhammad Rahim asserted themselves as Adaliks, or regional rulers, and they basically, long story short, had the power at this time. Now, by 1747, Muhammad Rahim actually executed Al-Faiz and established himself as the new ruler of a new Mangit dynasty right here. Now, this Mangit dynasty was actually not descended from Genghis Khan, it was actually a Persian dynasty. And by the third ruler, the ruler Shamarad, they actually transitioned to an emirate to reflect this. And even though it still wasn't a khanate, I'll cover the rest of this history. So, really, during this time, most of these people didn't have the most power, as they were basically vassals of the Persian Empire. And by 1868, most of the emirate was actually conquered by Russia um, after losing in a war to them, and the remaining territory became a protectorate. And it continued that way. By this time, there's pretty much no power that any of these emirs had, in state affairs or anything. But they still held a little bit. So now I'm going to get to talk about Bukhara's final and possibly most famous ruler. This is from an interesting reason. Now, famous doesn't mean he's the best. In fact, he was actually quite terrible. I am, of course, referring to Muhammad Alim Khan, or his full name, Said Mir Muhammad Alim Khan, um, and his famous color photograph. Now, as you can see right here, this was his color photograph right here. No, this wasn't actually colorized in the modern day. This was actually a super early color photography photo from 1911, taken by Sergei Mikhailovich Prokudin-Gorsky in his series of photos documenting Russian culture. And basically, I think, from what I could gather, how this worked is they had different color slides that represented each color, I'm guessing red, green, and blue channels, and they were able to exhibit all the vibrant clothing that Muhammad Alim Khan was wearing. So it's Pretty cool. And if you want to learn more about him and this photo, check out Emperor Tiger Star's video devoted entirely to that subject. But basically, the story with him, long story short, was that he was super conservative and, he wanted to hold a lot more power than he actually had. And because of the fact that, the Russian Revolution was happening, the Bolsheviks wanted to make sure that there was no remnant of monarchy left in Russia, even in an obscure part of it, all the way to the east, the southeast. So they overthrew the Bukharan Emirate, toppled Alim from power, and sent him to exile in Afghanistan, where he died in 1944. Thus, Bukhara was entered into the annals of history as one of the longest existing khanates of all of Asia. Muhammad Alim Khan actually has descendants that live to this day. Fun fact, his daughter Shukriya Alimi Rod escaped during the Afghani Revolution of 1979 and immigrated to the United States and actually became a broadcaster for Voice of America. And she's still alive at the age of 78. She must have been born right at the end of his life. But that about wraps up this video. Thank you all for watching. Much appreciated. And I'll be coming out with another video covering another one of these khanates very soon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.